That's why when we talk on our show, when we talk to women, I'm doing it differently. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to sit there and make you feel good about bad behavior you might be doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because you're a woman and I'm a woman, we're supposed to have that bond.
No.
And no, I'm not going to do that.
We have to be able to, I feel like we have to, in order to grow and be better as women, we have to be able to call each other out. Kara's my sister. I love her dearly. Y'all know how, I'm sure you guys realize how close that we are. But Kara will call me out in a hot minute on my stuff. When you have curly hair, you don't get any credit. We don't get no length cred.
Because, this is easier.
My hair is down by my waist. And look, it's all the way up here.
Right down here. Look how long my hair is.
Curly girls, you know what we're talking about, right? Where you just get no length credit. All this growth.
And it grows so much and you don't even notice it.
I know, right? My hair is down to my waist.
Back when I had a relaxer, my hair, it was like watching paint dry. You just wanted your hair to get longer and longer, and because it was stretched out already,
right?
It was never ever going to get long. Well, then you go natural, which I've been for what 7-8 years now.
Yeah, right.
And then you one day straighten your hair because I only straighten my hair like once a year. Then all of a sudden your hair goes from you're used to seeing it this length. It goes from here, and then all of a sudden it's down by your waist.
Right. No one's ever going to see that until I straighten it once a year. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm gonna read a comment real quick that we got from a woman. It's interesting how you two say a lot about what women are doing wrong, but not men. Angry face, rolling the eyes, emojis. Sorry, but men, especially black men, need to be called out on their stuff. She used another word. And be told to get their act together. When is that video coming? Exclamation point. I think her name is either Tamala or Tamala. All right, so when are we gonna call black men out on their? Okay.
Never.
And
I'll tell you why we'll never do that. Men don't listen to women that way. You know what I mean? Men have to listen to other men. When we talk, we're talking to women.
Right.
Because we're the same gender. So if I see something that is out of order or not right about women, then we can't just blame men. We have to look at ourselves too. There's already a I hate men movement.
Right.
So it's not like men aren't getting it. Left and right, daily, all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell men what they need to do. I'll leave that up to all the other YouTubers that are men that are doing stuff for men.
Yes.
Men aren't going to listen to women, and they shouldn't.
It's not,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They shouldn't. You have to listen to other men. I think men listen to us. When men listen to us, they get simpy, and they're not being authentically masculine.
Right. Because
they're taking advice from feminine. I can only talk to feminine nature because that's what I am, and when I see feminine nature becoming something it shouldn't be. Because we do contribute to their problem. See, that's the thing that I think a lot of women, particularly black women, don't understand about black men, is that we are part of the problem also. It isn't just them.
It's not. I know you want it to be, but it's not. I know black women want it to be.
I'm not saying black men don't have problems.
Of course not. That's
but
crazy.
What I'm saying is that when you focus, when you project, and you don't look at self, then you become, one-sided. And you also become just an angry person because if you don't fix yourself, if everything has to come from another gender, the opposite gender, and you aren't taking responsibility, your happiness depends on them.
Right.
Your happiness doesn't depend on yourself, which means if you're unhappy, then you have to make yourself happy so that you can attract happiness from a man.
So us sitting back
and just dogging men all day,
chastising men and waving our finger and wagging our finger in their face, you need to do this, man, and being naggy and all that, that's not supposed to be in a woman's nature. And comments like this, see, this is what we mean, is that we have a lot of wonderful women. So let me just say this real quick, because I don't give enough shout outs to that. We have wonderful women subscribers that understand where we're coming from, who have the same mindset that we're kind of I would say pushing, but that we're promoting, and so I want to put that there. But there is a influx of black women that have comments like this and are, angry faces, cussing, exclamation point. This whole message is masculine. The whole demeanor of this, I don't even know this woman, but I know that her demeanor is just aggressive and masculine. Why couldn't you just write this this sentence or this paragraph in a more calm fashion? Because you're one of the people who's going to go and wag your finger at men and you're doing this wrong and you need to get your, SHIT together, and it's like that kind of behavior is exactly what we are referring to. Men are not going to listen to women yelling at them.
And they shouldn't. You shouldn't. No one wants to hear someone talk at you.
Why?
They want you to talk to them.
Right.
And so for me to talk at them, it's like disregarding their own feelings.
Right. Exactly.
Because we pretend like women sometimes. We pretend like men don't get hurt also.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because men are supposed to be, strong and they're supposed to take a lot. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of what happens with us is that a lot of platforms, particularly with black women and platforms, is this projection. Mm-hmm. It's always them. Mm-hmm. They're always trying to do this and they're cheating on us and lying to us and they won't pay child support and they won't do all this. But I rarely ever hear any woman say, you know what, I picked the wrong people.
Right.
I was a mess when I met someone. Why am I going to tell a gender that I'm not a part of how to be a man? I can't do that. How can you do that?
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how
you can't.
How can you do that? And why is that even my place?
It's not.
I don't want to do that. There are several men out there that are parts of communities in YouTube that are trying to get men back to man status.
I've seen several
and they get called out by their own gender.
The roommates, Stephen Speaks, the Elliot Host,
Soul Immortal. I mean, I don't need to do that. Those men are handling men. Now, we need to handle women. Because the one thing, you were watching Soul Immortal the other day, and the one thing he said is that, and this is what I want to say because he is correct about this, we talked about this, is that it isn't, I don't know how this woman is, but we do get a lot of younger women that like,
we do.
Okay, so he's right. It is our fault. And by that, I do mean women my age.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when he said he
takes responsibility for the generation underneath him. And the truth is that we perpetuated a lot of things like feminism, and we make single motherhood like some kind of trophy in our community. You know what I mean? Like literally, it's not weird to see black women in their teenage years pregnant. It is for white women.
Right.
I mean,
it's strange.
It's strange for them. Because the marriage is first for them before they have kids. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but for the black community for a long time,
completely normal.
It's just completely normal. And we kind of just make it look like we don't say how irresponsible we are as women, as black women. I'm talking about black women right now.
Yeah.
How irresponsible we are as black women to let our daughters just become single mothers, and not educate them on sex and self-esteem. And we don't do that.
And there's
but the proof of that is how many women are single mothers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how am I going to sit here and tell a man to be a man when women need to be women?
Yeah, we're not even doing that. But women are not doing their part. We just talked about this last week. There's a sense of just complete running amok, and not behaving like women, and then you get women that are angry at men, and instead of just saying why you're angry at men, you want to just be mad at them. It's like you don't want to really get down to what's really going on, because anybody that has that type of anger, just reading that, I can see the anger. But the way you fix that is that you figure out where you went wrong. If you've watched any of our shows at any point, what you'll see consistently in our videos is that Kara and I talk a lot about our personal lives, but we take accountability and responsibility for the mistakes that we made in our life for in any area, including men. We don't go and go, I was treated so bad by men back in the blank years, and it's all their fault. We don't do that. Mm-hmm. We don't do that. There's no point of doing that. You're not looking at yourself. And this type of behavior is what we're speaking about. Like, you have to take responsibility for yourself. You can't just sit there and wave your finger at a man and say he's doing things wrong. No, we've never said that all men are perfect. We never said that, but we do see, like you were talking about this the other day. There's a clear, like Kara says, I hate men movement. It's clear,
and not just with black men, with white men too, especially
man.
With white men.
Yeah,
white men are like the devil now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know, they are the patriarchy. They are the biggest problem. You know what I mean. And I think that we aren't really talking about what the patriarchy can give us.
Right.
And I think that we belittle men enough that they do become kind of losers.
Yeah.
Because why are you going to keep, you know what I mean? Why we also are part of their self-esteem as well. You know what I mean? Which, you know, when you watch, if you take the time to watch, look, I was saying the other day, there are just enough shows on YouTube, and men I respect, 100% respect. You know what I mean? That are black men. They're anywhere from 30s to middle age to older men, and I respect them all. You know, and you're talking to a girl who was raised with a father that bailed. Two women that were raised with a father that bailed. So I would say that men were in the beginning of my life, men were the downfall of my life, because I didn't have we didn't have one to show us how to be ladies. I mean, he showed us to look for. I mean, he sort of, because he left, he sort of threw us to the wolves. Right. Because he gave us nothing but his absence. Right. But then also, like the last 10 to 15 years, because I took 10 years without dating men. And when I say I didn't date men, I mean I didn't hold hands with a man. I didn't kiss a man. I didn't have sex with a man. And most I had was conversations with men. And then I found someone. It didn't work out. But then ever since him, I've also just been single again. And
there's a reason for that.
Over the course of 15 years, I've been rehabilitated by men, and they don't even know it. Right. Because there are men that I've read books about, you know, philosophers that are men, just YouTubers. Since YouTube's come in my life, I've watched a lot of YouTube shows with men, and believe me, men are getting theirs from their own gender. I don't need to do that. They can handle that. You know what I mean? But I think that if most women would actually really talk to men in a real way instead of being angry 100%. With men, and maybe watch some of these guys from YouTube, maybe read some books that men write. Because we
learned. You were so right that we learned so
everybody
much.
Wasn't my father. Yeah. See what I'm saying? And that's what we tend to do as women. Everybody's not your baby daddy, and everybody's not your father, and everybody's not the person that maybe raped you or molested you. And that's what women do. We get so emotional, we hold on to the pain that men give us, and we forget that there are a whole bunch of other men that didn't do anything like that.
We always forget. Women forget, or not even forget. They just don't want to admit things. And I feel like you can learn so much from men. Like we don't know everything, right? And men don't either. But we're just saying we don't know everything. But when we hear a balanced whole man talk, it helps, you know, us get a little bit more into, you know, the psyche of a man. You can learn a lot from men, but it's as if we're trying to do what this woman's doing. All you want to do is browbeat them, and you're not understanding that you can learn a lot. Like Kara's saying, you can, you know, from men philosophers, bombard yourself. If you have a problem with men, ladies, if you have any problem with men, you do need to kind of bombard yourself with good images of men, because there's going to be a lot of bad. People love negativity. You can tell you, negative videos do a lot better than positive ones. Right? So I'm just saying that you need to, if you have a problem with men, go out there and look at as many positive videos as you can with men, or anyone in your real life. If you know any man in your real life where they can kind of help, you know, you understand men a little bit better instead of just being so angry about it.
And sometimes it's better not to even talk to them. Just
listen.
Just look at YouTube or read books. You know why I say that? Because women have we have a problem with our mouth.
Yeah, we talk.
And when we talk to men in the flesh, sometimes we have this habit of interrupting them and trying to tell them, project onto them what we are, and try to make them us.
I've been guilty
of that. And we,
you know,
interject them and talk to them and try to boss them and be their mama and be their everything. But when you have to watch a YouTube show or you have to read a book, you can't talk to them. You just have to sit there and listen. You're forced to, because they're not there to talk to. And so that's the reason why I don't, you know, a lot of my reasoning, a lot of my problems with men in the past, you know, when I was in my 20s, had to do with the fact that I didn't ever talk to men. I didn't even listen to men. I didn't even get a real man's perspective on anything. All of my perspectives came from women. Women, though, who were angry, and frustrated. Men. And so they projected that onto me in my young mind, and I took that as fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because they didn't have good men. They want to make me think that all men are that way, because in their world that is that, and that happens a lot with women. That's why when we talk on our show, when we talk to women, I'm doing it differently. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to sit there and make you feel good about bad behavior you might be doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because you're a woman and I'm a woman, we're supposed to have that bond.
No.
And no, I'm not going to do that.
We have to be able to, I feel like we have to, in order to grow and be better as women, we have to be able to call each other out. Kara's my sister. I love her dearly. Y'all know how, I'm sure you guys realize how close that we are, but Kara will call me out in a hot minute on my stuff. If something goes wrong, if I'm doing something that's a little shady or weird, or I don't know, she always is there to do that. That's what a woman does for another woman. And I appreciate that. You can get mad all you want, but it's the looking out for one another you're supposed to be doing. And you're right. So it's like, you need to be interacting with, when we talk to women, when we're speaking about women, but when we're speaking about women, we are not trying to make you guys seem like you're the devil of the world. You know what I mean? Not like that. Because we're women, we love women, but we are trying to help women maybe see where you're part of this mess of interaction with men. Especially, again, we're speaking mainly with black women, because black women, in my opinion, are the ones that have the most anger inside. And I'm not saying the anger is not valid, so don't understand that. Like, I'm not saying that whatever your anger stems from with men, it's valid. But why don't we just talk through it? Why don't we just, and start to understand each other as opposed to getting mad? So when we talk to women, that's all that we're trying to do, is just maybe let women see maybe an error that they're doing. Maybe they don't even know they're doing it. Right. You know what I mean? They don't even know that they're doing it. And I appreciate a while back when women did that for me. Hey, you're not doing something right there, Danielle. Like, that's a little bit, you might want to fix that.
See, for women, it hurts to hear the truth.
It does.
You know what I mean? I don't know about other platforms where men are talking to men, how it maybe hurts them to hear the truth too sometimes. But it hurts for them. We have shows like The Talk, The View, The Real, and we have all kinds of women that are on big platforms like that are clapping and patting women on the back and arrogantly walking around like there's not a single mother rate in the black community.
Right.
That's almost 80%. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't we stop? I was thinking this the other day. I was like, why, when you look at statistics like black women, the single mother rate is in almost 80. For white women, it's almost 50.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you hear those terms, when Mother's Day comes around, maybe instead of celebrating women all the time in a way of, oh, women can do no wrong, mothers are the best. Maybe we need to talk about what's actually hurting us. I tell you, single mothers can be great. They can. You can do the best you can.
Yeah.
But single motherhood is not ideal. It's not fair to the kid either. Yeah. Not really, because they're not getting both parents.
And before anyone gets us one, this is like a disclaimer. We're not mothers. So I don't want to, you guys are not mothers, you don't understand. Okay. But there are actually, women out there right now that are single mothers speaking about this and saying, like, this is not ideal. Single mothers are saying this, and I like that more of them are coming out and saying that, because it is a problem. I
mean, Father's Day gets treated like Flag Day.
Yeah, it does. Nothing.
It gets nothing. And women, no matter how much mistakes they make with men and have babies out of wedlock and have babies when they're 12 years old and 13 years old, no matter how many times they actually abuse their children, because they do, single mothers can abuse their kids because it's a lot of pressure. And they get frustrated. That can happen. You know what I mean? Like things like that. My point in saying that is that I feel like women sometimes, we get played the victim card. And men get played the aggressor, the problem.
And playing the victim, it makes you weak. And we don't think women are weak.
Right.
We actually think women are strong. In our perspective role, we feel that is the feminine role. We think that is a strong role to be in this world. We need women, and I think that when, like you're saying, playing that victim role, it's weakening you, and you're not weak. So this is why we speak so aggressively about, and assertively about women and the behaviors of women.
Yeah.
We're trying to get people to talk, on a real level. We get criticized by men.
Yeah.
Too. We get, and sometimes those criticisms are valid. Sometimes it's like constructive criticism.
A lot of women will say, "Oh, the single mother rate is because men leave." True, but then we also have to recognize how we pick men,
right,
and the state of mind we're in.
Sure.
And you can only get there by examining yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can't keep blaming them when you keep choosing certain ones.
When you're different, he'll be different.
You know what I mean? And the truth is, a lot of women don't really understand men very much. They don't. They look at there's a sort of attraction to guys that are like bad boys, and those guys have lots of kids. They go in and out of jail.
So who are we blaming?
You know what I mean? And after a while, you have to ask yourself, like, how do I contribute to my own relationships? You know what I mean? Because you attract the type of man that you are. The kind of woman you are. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who you lay down with matters. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't have any respect for things like sex anymore. It's overrated. It's shown everywhere, and we've made it too available. That I think people just sort of take for granted that when you sleep with someone, you could actually have a child.
It's like, single mothers are always getting the bulk of the criticism when it comes to, being a single mother. They never say anything about the man who impregnated them, you know what I mean? And then dashed, right? And so, in my take on that, the reason why women get the bulk of the criticism when it comes to that, in my opinion, is because women, you hold a lot of power. This is where sexual discipline comes in. Kara talks about sexual discipline, because you could just not have sex with them, right? But because you're choosing to have sex with them, and we know how men think, right? So if it's available, majority of men are going to take it. If you already know that you're about to lay down with someone who is not whole,
or your husband,
or
even your fiance,
and
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the fact that you have that power to just not have sex, that's the one thing with women. We can hold out longer than men. So we have that's when I say power, that's the sexual power, that we have that part of us where we can hold out much longer than men. The majority of us can, and because you will be able to do that means that you could it could be a problem that you didn't have to have. But because you didn't have any sexual discipline, here we go. So that's why a lot of times women get a lot of criticism. Now, men are not exempt in this thing. Clearly, we know it takes two people to make a baby and the whole thing. But the truth is that if you close your legs,
they can't get in it.
They can't get there. And what we have here is women who are not doing that. And I believe that it's deeper. I think that a lot of women are opening themselves up to men like that because they're not healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I think it's deep. I don't think it's just that, it's just about closing your legs and you're all done. Okay, that's not gonna happen. No, I think that there's a reason why women are doing that, which is where we're trying to get across to women, is that you need to look at your problems. When you look at your problems, you are able to cut things off very easily because you're working on yourself.
Yeah.
But you cannot work on yourself properly when you're letting toxic people, men, come in and out of your bedroom. You know what I mean? Even if it's the same man that is toxic, been dealing with him for years, nothing's going to change. You're not willing to look at yourself. Because you're going to be afraid of what you're going to find out. Look, when I did work on myself years ago, I didn't like to admit some of the things about my own self. And so that's why you suppress a lot of stuff. And I feel like if you really dig deep into yourself and look at things about yourself, you'll find out some stuff. And what you're going to find out is that you're the reason for your problems. And that's what no one wants to get to.
Yeah.
No one wants to ever, that's the one part no one wants to look at, is that you are the actual reason for your own problems. You are a part in your own mess. And so,
I mean, a lot of men that are under 30 that are out there dating, a lot of those men are raised with no father. So do you understand, when there's a lack of masculine energy in a man's life and he grows up and he starts dating, it's just like us. He's missing something. And so he goes out and he doesn't really know how to be a man. He knows how to have sex because that's biology. Right. But he doesn't know how to be a man. And so a lot of men look for manhood in the context of like rappers. And so they look for women that way.
The surface stuff.
You know, the fake way, the TV way. That's how they look. You know, this is, you know, things like that. And so they get bad information based on not having masculine energy in their life. And they go out there and date women who have also probably been raised without a father and a toxic mother or just an only mother. Yeah. And then you meet up. That's the problem.
Two toxic
for
people.
For me to tell a man how to be, no man is going to tap onto us and tell, you know, going to care about what two women are saying, you know. What do we know about manhood? You know what I mean? Like, that's how they're going to look. I'm not going to find a reference of manhood from two women.
I think men, you know what I mean? You know, and we've said this before, is that the majority, men are our majority audience. It's, you know, we always talk about that because it's crazy how it just kind of flipped. But
that's a good point. But, if more men are watching us than women, then when the women that are watching should realize that what we're saying is what there has to be something we're saying that is that they want to be like, yes, that's resonating with them. Yeah. And I think that a lot of women just don't do that. We immediately go to the victim card.
Immediately. I've done this before. This is not, look, in my toxic years, I did that. I get what's happening with women like this because I was you. You know, and I just think that if we can kind of fix the situation, I'm telling you, if you just look at you, but you are right. Like, there has to be a reason. It has to be resonating with men.
You think men want to watch a show where there are other YouTuber women that talk about men like a dog?
No.
You think men want to sit and watch that? I mean, why would they? Why would they? I don't even like when if there's like a YouTuber where a man's just completely angry. I don't want to sit and watch that as a woman. So why would I think a man would want to sit and watch that? But then also there's just facts. You know what I mean? You can't. We can't play the victim card all the time and make them the problem, or else this problem never changes.
It never changes. And that's what we're, and Kara and I are not an advice channel. We're just a perspective channel, so we don't give advice like that, you know. But when people send us questions or videos or whatever, and we review them, and we just, you know, bring up subjects that are important, right? And I think that's where it starts with conversation. And I think that we have to be able to have conversation instead of just like a two-way one. Instead of just having that one-way conversation where you're always right. You know, I'm not always right.
No.
You know, I am not, and I don't want to always be right, because when you're always right, that means you're the smartest person in the room, and I'm telling you, you don't grow from that. So I want to hear things that maybe I didn't know, so I listen. People hear all the time, but they just don't listen. And what we have said before is that what you need to do is listen to what people are saying, take in the information, shut up for a minute before you start talking, you know, take in the information, process it, then speak. And what we have is a lot of women are just hearing someone talk, a man talk, that may be constructive criticism, and then she reacts.
Emotionally.
This is towards us. This comment was towards us, and there's 5 emojis are in there. And exclamation points, and you know, it's like, what? Calm down.
It's more fun to hear us talk bad about men than it would be for us to talk, you know, bad
which is what a lot of women want to do.
But we have to be honest with ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, you know, true. You know, when you call a man a player, he's not a player because he's not sleeping with anyone. He's a player because of women.
Let's talk about that. Why is that?
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He's not a player because, you know, he's just sitting there alone by himself and he's single.
It was
and
loud.
He's not getting dates at all. He's a player because women contribute to that ego, that whole thing. You
They validated him. We validate the wrong. See, you're validating the wrong people, the wrong men. You're validating the players. You're validating, you know, men who are, I guess, simps. People validate that too, and you know, you're validating this toxic
Which, by the
men,
way,
you know?
we did a show about simps and red pill a while back, maybe months ago.
Yeah.
And I actually feel differently about that video because I think I was flip about red pills. Because
I don't know. I have to look at it again.
You
I
know
didn't
why
say
I was
I
flip?
remember.
Because I kind of jokingly made fun. Like there were some things that I kind of jokingly made fun because I didn't understand. It was my own ignorance.
Okay.
But as I've over time, which I don't know if any guys are watching, you can tell me if I'm correct. But I was wrong. I mean, I think now that I've actually looked into red pill and really a little bit more,
Yeah.
it seems to just be men who are connecting back to their masculinity.